Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for the
You're welcome.
insightful section, sir.
You're welcome.
So I have some confusion, some part. Then I have some other question. So maybe I should go to that confusion first. Maybe you clarify that aspect for me. Okay. In that confusion matrix, sir, can you go there?
Okay, confusion matrix. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the name looks even confusing actually. Yeah. So it's called confusion matrix. This one, sorry, no. This one, am I right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
So the confusion I have is that because maybe what the way I know it before, maybe there is a little different due to this case.
Okay.
Because this place is actually what is true positive, and this place we have a false positive. Because from your discussion, I think you refer mostly to this place as false negative. So I don't know, maybe I got it wrong from somewhere. This is why this one is false negative. This
okay, let me know your understanding. You think that this should be false positive, eh?
Yes.
And this should be false negative, eh?
No, this is true positive.
True positive, and this is
false positive.
And this is false positive, eh?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on what I know before, I don't know, maybe there is a confusion somewhere. Then this is a false negative, and this is true negative. The third one.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, you see, what do you need to know about confusion matrix? Yeah, like the name confusion matrix. So the person actually coined it is actually trust people get confused about this idea. But let me give you the solution to it. You can actually label it the way you like. You see, you label it the way you like that you can understand. Look at it here. Can you see it? There's a label called true label. True label. That is A is Alzheimer disease. Everything in this line originally from the data, they are the true label. Everybody here, they are having the disease.
No.
Everybody here, they are having disease. There are 87 plus 2. There are 89 people with the disease. Now, that's true label. Then, for true label for non-disease people, people who are not sick, who are not suffering from this disease, this is the total. 6 plus 83, another 89. So whatever you have from this row-wise, this is true label. All of them are ordinarily having this Alzheimer. See, they are positive patients. They are sick. Everybody here. This is the first step. Why everybody here, from this row point of view, they are not sick. 89 people from the row. That is what we call true label. So when you label it like this, now the next thing is this second label is the predictive label. This is prediction from our algorithm. Now, our algorithm now predicted that 87 guys here are having the disease, 6 guys here, they're having the disease. And you know earlier that these guys, everybody here are supposed not to have the disease. Now, it now moves further to say that for the non-AD, everybody in this column is not having the disease. This one, 83, is not having, which is correct. Already, they are defined not to have it. If you draw it here at the midpoint point. It's also saying that this is the prediction. It said 2 guys here are not having the disease. But we know already that everybody here is having the disease. So these 2 guys are mistakenly predicted as having no disease. And that is false negative. It means you are predicting him as having negative status. It means you don't have the disease, but it is not correct. That is called false negative. Why? In the AD prediction, is predicting this guy to be positive as AD, which is correct. However, this guy originally is not positive, but our algorithm has predicted him to be having 6 people to be having the disease. This is a positive that is false. It means you have predicted them to be having the disease, but they are not having the disease. So we call it false positive. I hope it clarifies. Eh?
It has, it's not clear now.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. So
now, the question I have is there is a hair. Now, the issue of the model that we're actually comparing here,
Yeah.
the SVM, KNN, and the likes. So we are using different features for each of them.
Yeah.
And we are still comparing their result.
Yeah.
What I'm just thinking is that why can't we use the same feature for all of them?
Thank you very
so
much.
that we now know that they are on the same ground before we're not comparing them. Just want to get a clearer picture.
Okay, thank you very much. Usually, this is what we do normally. You know, like I said, every day things are changing. Usually, before we do recommend that people use the same feature. Of course, we started with the same feature. If you look at it, the initial results were from all the features before feature selection. They were all subjected to the same number of features. All the experimental results shown earlier, just before the feature selection, they were all using the same number of features. I think we showed this result. You see all the results here, they are using all the features, 17 or 18 features we had, all of them subjected to the same thing. Now, however, when it comes to the feature selection, I told you there are different feature selection methods. Which one are we going to select? The simple one I usually recommend, we presented last time, I call it correlation-based feature selection, whereby you first of all calculate the correlation of the input to the output, and you arrange them in descending order, and you start selecting the best, run the best half, another best half, another best half, until you are left with one. In this case, all the algorithms are subjected to the same feature selection, to the same feature. This is valid. This is also okay. However, a new feature selection technique is, okay, why don't you respect the right of this feature? As a matter of fact, we gave all of them all the features. And we allow them to please choose the feature that can work for you. It's like you have multiple types of food for people. Let them select the one that are okay with, they're comfortable with. We didn't deny any one of them any of the features. All the features were given to SVM, and SVM ran several runs, combining different of these features, and came out and said, I've checked many feature combinations, but the one that worked for me is 13. KNN search for also 6 work for me. It's another type or another level of feature selection. That is, we want to give the freedom to the algorithm to select those they are comfortable with. And as a matter of fact, I think that's an advantage in this sense, actually. However, it's not compulsory. There are other feature selection, like we call it the feature selection, whereby you select the algorithm, the features you want to use before you start checking on the model themselves. Like the correlation-based feature selection I mentioned earlier. This happens outside the modeling. In that case, you have to give the same number of features to all the algorithm repeatedly in a recursive manner. However, for this sequential forward feature selection algorithm, it gives all the features to each model and allow them to search through the combination that work for them. So it is a type of feature selection, and it is also okay. In fact, some people prefer it, that, okay, let me select the one that works for me as an algorithm. So since we gave them the freedom, they are not missing anything, and they came up that, no, this is the one that is good for me. It is also a valid feature selection, although other methods also are there that are also valid. I hope that clarifies.
No, Jazakumullah.
I
now understood. Now, it's the algorithm that chooses the feature that they want, actually.
Yeah. We ran through them. Yeah, thank you. Now, so I believe the next person that have question was Dr. Adekola.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan. Your effort is truly appreciated, sir.
Yeah,
now, my question goes there is no doubt about the fact that this aspect is biosurveillance. Now, my concern is about result dissemination. How can individual this time around, each of the the patient that has been taken into consideration in this result, this study, how can they be given their individual results? That, okay, this is your result, this is your result, because this has been studied in group. So I don't know whether
I got your point. Yeah.
Okay,
See, now we have developed the model. You know, when we develop the model, we divide the data, like mentioned, into, I think they use cross validation or either whichever method you use. For production, we usually use ODOT method, divided into 2, maybe, or 3, training, testing, and validation. Now, once you build the model, you have tested it a lot. Now we want to take it to production. We will not take the sample of anybody. Anybody can come with his own sample. You see, usually we get new sample from the clinic. We don't want to use this one we have used for building the model. We get new samples for other patients from the clinic, and we can now use it to check if our model is really doing fine, actually. Yeah. So we can do that easily. So you just need to bring in the data, and then if you are using Weka, put it in an Excel, and then upload it in under the option. We already demonstrated this before in our previous video, how to use how to use Weka. You just put in Excel in the CVS file, save it, and then you load data and use it to test your model. It will tell you the status of that single patient you put the data there. And you can, I can see Hakim.
Yeah, assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakumullah khairan. My question is still going back to the confusion matrix.
Okay.
If we have like a three class problem,
can you speak up, please? Sorry.
Okay. I said if we have a 3-class problem.
Yeah.
Now the demonstration you have shown us is for a 2-class. How do we name those ones that are wrongly classified? For instance, let's assume that we are working with maybe KNN.
Yeah, I understand.
We have like 3. Yes.
Yeah, I understand you. Yeah. You see, the same procedure holds. Okay. Now, the same procedure holds. So, because in that case, you know, this is a confusion matrix for binary classification problem. That is yes or no. We have 2 classes. Once we have 3 classes, then it becomes what we call multi-classification problem. There are multiple classes. Starting from 3, it becomes multiple. So the confusion matrix for them is a little bit different from what we have in binary. And that is why if we have problems that are complicated, we try to convert it to binary, because the initial basis for classification is binary. It's yes or no, because it is easier to analyze the result in more depth of it. However, if you have 3 classes that you cannot convert to 2 classes, that is fine. We can actually, we can refer back to one of our videos earlier where we discussed confusion matrix and how to evaluate machine learning model. We discussed this in detail, both the binary and also the multi-class problem. However, to answer your question, what you need to do also is just maybe we have instead of AD and non-AD, maybe we have a non-AD, and then we have a AD minima and AD complicated. Maybe we rank it. Let's say we have a data set that says early stage AD, late stage AD. So in that case, we have 3 classes. You label that, you have true label. Then non-AD, it doesn't have it. And then, okay, let's do the anxiety paper we discussed earlier. Yeah, there was an anxiety paper we discussed earlier. It has actually 3 classes. It has 2 classes. It also has 3 classes. 2 classes, anxiety or no anxiety. That is binary classification. Very easy. However, the 3rd class, the second experiment was there's no anxiety, there is medium anxiety, and there's high anxiety. That is 3 classes. So you have to label the accordingly. So none, medium, and then maybe maximum. So you have 3 here under the true positive, under the true label. And then here you are going to have 3. You create another one here to indicate the 3rd class. And then the same principle follow. You are going to have 2 true positive here, true for this one. For the second one also, whatever you call it, but it's not going to be negative or positive now, this time around, because it's more than 3. This is AD that is also predicted as AD. The diagonal are going to be the same. Those are going to be the true prediction you have. Then beside it, you are going to have, because in that case, the mistake could be to the second one, it could be to the first one. And that's why we cannot talk of false negative or false positive just like that. So we're going to analyze how many of these AD are correctly predicted, how many of the other ones are not correctly predicted. So this is how you have to deal with in that particular matrix.
The second question is I'm actually trying to do some practice on some on a data set, and when I did the I tried to do this optimization using individual hyperparameters. So the value I got was quite different from when I used like grid search to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I made a mistake in what I did, or maybe there's something.
Thank you very
else.
much for that. Thank you very much. You know, how did you cite the parameter initially?
Initially, I was, for instance, when I was using an ANN, I put in like different, for instance, for the number of hidden layers. So I started with 1. I got the accuracy, started with, then changed to 2. Yeah. I kept all the other ones constant.
Okay, yeah. And now you now move to the second one, and then you kept the previous one constant. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. You see, this is what I call manual sequential search or systematic sequential search or a gradual search. You see, in machine learning, there are so many ways you can do things. Grid search is one of the unique search you can do. You know the power of grid search. You are searching simultaneously from different angles. You get the point now. But it's going to take time. This is the issue. So when you start in, I usually recommend a simple search. Keep one fixed, especially you start with the most important hyperparameter in support vector machine. Start with searching for the best value of kernel. If you get kernel to be polynomial or Gaussian, then keep it fixed, start searching for C. We get it down, keep it fixed. But that does not mean that if you use grid search, you are going to get the same thing. No, it doesn't mean that. It does not, because grid search is, for example, you are trying, because when you are searching linearly, sequentially, manually, you cannot exhaust, let's say you search, when you are searching for C, from 1 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 7, you stop at, by the time you stop at 100, you got the best value because you are keeping other value constant for the other model, for the other, what do you call it, other parameters. However, if you use grid search, there's not going to be limitation to the imagination. You search through all possibilities. Maybe there was a limitation you impose because this is linear search. In linear search, you have to sometimes guess. Let me start from here to here. But sometimes you have a search that goes round. It was increasing, it goes down, it starts increasing again, it goes down, it starts increasing. When you face this kind of thing, if you are using linear search, you have to decide to stop at a point in time. But grid search, we present everything for you, then you keep searching. Even you might get different results from the one you search using the manual. Actually, for grid search, we are coming back to when you use optimization algorithm like genetic algorithm to search. This one is intelligent search. Your result will be different from when you search using ant colony optimization to search. You get another kind of result. So, because if you look at the principle behind ant colony optimization, the one behind genetic algorithm, the one behind the swarm, and so many other type of optimization method we can use to search hyperparameter. So the bottom line is you can get different hyperparameter value. That is acceptable, and that is actually good, what is going to happen. If I had to get the same value using different searches, the difference might not be much, or sometimes it could be much, but it's not a problem. Just document how did you search your parameter. This is what is important for people to know. I hope that is clear.
All right, so Jazakumullah khairan.
Barakallahu fi. Now, so if you can use linear search and you get your result excellent accuracy, that's fine. But if it doesn't work for you, sometimes linear search is not able to give you, you go to grid search, because grid search will take a lot of time. This is why people avoid it. And you can even go to next levels, try to use some optimization algorithms to support the search. Maybe you get better results. Thank you for that. So, and a question came in. Okay, I think Dr. Rashid, I can see your hand.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
You're welcome.
Yeah, still on the concern raised by Malam Muhammad
Okay.
with respect to we exposing the algorithm to different fictions,
Okay.
and how justifiable would that be? Comparing the result thereafter.
Thank you. I've
That is
clarified
still
that. Yeah, maybe, yeah, I've clarified that. I will clarify it again. We did not expose the algorithm to different features. We expose all of them to the same feature, but we allow them to choose the one that is better for them. This is what happens there. You see, we give like, in fact, what we have done is we have been fair to the algorithm. We give them like 17 features, and each of them are made to, they try to combine 2, combine 3, combine 4, combine 5, use 6, use 7. They do it for each of the algorithms. And then we now put the result down. We now select the one that gave each algorithm the best result. The best for SVM was different from the best, the other one. So what do? Do we now use support vector machine as the basis to select everybody must be put on 13? Definitely no. So we expose them to all features. We run several feature selection on them, use 2 features, use 3, use 4, use 5, use 6. And now we found out for KNN, it got the best result when it was using 6. SVM got its own when it was used 13. So actually, this is fairness to them, by the way. So we not expose one to only 6 and another one to only 13. No, all of them exposed to all the features and different combination of the features. However, we now select where do you get the best. You see, it's like you have an examination for students like 15 papers, and then you know, it's okay, because there's a lot of failure. Okay, we're going to select the best 5 results for every student. Some students might be good in physics, some are good in other things. So you select the best 5 for them. This is what we have done here. We select the feature that showed each of the algorithm the best result, and we selected it. Otherwise, if we select for 6, support vector machine was not getting good result at 6. If we select for 13, KNN was not getting better result for 13, but getting for 6. So the best we could have done is to say, okay, each of you, we are going to give you your best combination that work for you. And that is what happened. I hope it's clarified, Doctor. The last but not the least question here, someone asked, thank you, Mr. Chris. So you can see on the chart, Mr. Chris provided video on confusion matrix, another video talking of confusion matrix there, so we can read it up. It's like the name says, confusion matrix have made a lot of people get confused about this. So, but with practice, we get to know that it's a very unique way to describe the outcome of what do you call it, of a classification problem. Then there was a question that someone has. He said in the recommendation section, he said, is it good for someone, or is it recommended for someone to put future work in the recommendation? Yeah, you see, people ask this question. In fact, I've had one of my professors in the past who disagreed with me when I was still working under him then. You see, he's of the opinion that he said, if you put our future work in the recommendation, maybe people will do the next thing we want to do. You know, I smile. I said, Prof, we have so much recommendation, we don't have time to do them actually. So give it out there, let other people do it. We benefit from that. I mean, to me, this is my personal philosophy. So when I finish my work, I put as many recommendations, because while you are doing research, a lot of ideas keep coming to your mind, which to me, I know I might not even have the opportunity of going back to them. The other work will come. So I put it there as recommendation. So in fact, some people will read your paper, if they know that, oh, if you read this guy's paper, you always get good recommendation there. Because your paper should actually provide a basis for people to continue from where you stop. You see? So by telling them some of the idea that came up, done your research, I believe you are doing a great service to the people out there. You are benefiting them. And this is one of my own personal principles when it comes to research. When I'm concluding my paper, I write as many future work I think, because when you are doing research, a lot of ideas you did not even know before will start coming up. So I call it fence out and fencing. Some of these new idea that comes up as we are working, we included them in the research. These are the fence in. But there are some that you cannot put there because there's no time, or the paper will become too wieldy. Then we call them fence out. So those fence out idea that came to me in the course of writing those papers, I recommend to my student to put it in the future work. If we have the opportunity, like one of them now is working on the feature, maybe feature selection on one of them, there are so many recommendations that we might not have the opportunity of working because there are other projects that are coming that we need to work on. So this is actually a personal suggestion and recommendation that we have actually been doing. So yeah. So I hope that clarified that. Of course, it's not compulsory. So somebody feel that, no, this idea, someone will take it again before I do it. But personally, I don't really think in that direction. I give whatever recommendation I can. If someone does it before we are able to do it, at least he will cite our paper. And to me, that is okay. It means you have succeeded in a kind of motivating or providing guidance to another person. So thank you very much. So wish you all the best. Thank you for coming. I think that's all we have today in terms of question and comments. So inshallah, next week